Hey, welcome back to your shipper update. I'm Michael Vincent. He's Anthony Smith. What's going on, my friend?
You're right. I am Anthony Smith, and so
You are.
It's been a bit of a slower release week or past few days for economic
Okay.
releases. So I have to default to my bread and butter, and that is, of course, housing and construction. So we've got housing starts up here.
Yeah,
We're going to talk
beautiful.
about some of the trends going in and what some of those shippers that are impacted by the housing construction market can really expect moving forward in
Right
the
on.
most recent developments. So, of course, I have also one of my favorite FreightWaves indices as well. In the orange line, we have our FOTRI, our flatbed outbound trader
Did you notice
rejection
I
index.
used it in the carrier update
I
earlier?
saw that. I loved it, by the
shout out to
way. So what we're seeing in the total housing starts right now is that there was an increase in the latest monthly release. It was up 3.6%. That's great news, but there is some slowing momentum. Of course, the big thing that's been easing and really kind of halting overall progress within housing and construction has been existing home sales and inventory levels.
Right.
That lack of inventory has really put a lot of upward price pressure on the current situation. Of course, there's building limitations. We had that lumber spike in future prices for lumber not too long ago. That's starting to come down, but still very high, and
Yeah.
builders haven't been able to see that reduction just yet. But for those that are involved in shipping for those housing products, they're still going to be in a little bit of a tight spot. So if you're one of those appliance companies, something like that, those are still in very much in a backlog situation, because when we see those new houses, we see them get filled up with new furniture, new appliances, things like
The
that.
durable goods tied to the housing market, still very, very strong, which is a lot.
It's still strong, and it is a lot because we're seeing even builders, they were pulling some of those orders forward
Right.
with the expectation that there's going to be a difficulty sourcing some of these materials. And
sure.
so that's going to be a big area. And so the other big thing that we have to look at when we're looking at housing and construction, we also have to take into account the sentiment. I know Zach Strickland hates sentiment, but we got to think about it. We got to talk about it.
You do. Well, I mean, it's an indicator. You got to talk about because it all comes down to consumer anyways, and you don't spend sentiment.
Exactly.
Or do you?
I mean, it's like chicken or egg. You know?
Yeah, I don't know.
So we're looking at
Let's
home
talk
purchasing
about it.
sentiment index. We see that there is a lot of sentiment around selling a house. Of course, people are getting a lot of money for their homes right now. They are also saying that maybe it's not a good time to buy a house. And so there's that dichotomy right there. And we can see the different trends within the region. We have this new chart up here within
great.
the South region housing starts compared to Northeast. And so there's going to be a drastic difference between the size and the maturity of the market. So
Sure.
for example, in the South region, we see that there is 814,000 seasonally adjusted housing starts here compared to that much smaller number right there.
118.
Exactly, for the Northeast. And so we can see that that's much more of a mature market. That's going to be much more dependent on existing home sales and much more densely populated, so multifamily, things like that, compared to the South region or maybe some parts of the West or Midwest.
Yeah, and also, I mean, the population is moving as well.
Exactly.
You got
So
people leaving those, you can work from home.
Exactly.
Move to the
There
south.
are-
Don't have to be in the big Northeast cities anymore.
Exactly. Tons of variables at play right now. And this is going to be one of those segments that really gets impacted by all those variables at play. Really looking at overall housing starts, it's going to be a really big indicator of what the macroeconomy is going to be moving towards. But this is one of those things that's a little bit unseasonal right now.
Yeah, it is a little bit. And it'll be interesting to see how this plays out with those kind of self-limiters, like you said. The price, it's nice to sell a house, not
Yeah.
so nice to try and buy one right now.
Exactly.
We'll be back. Thank you so much, Anthony.